If you don't believe you've risen to your moment of significance, hold on. Your time may come and more quickly than you would think. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 1, the Torah portion, Pinchas. I'd like to say before I say anything else, thank you for those who are writing in, for those who are sending letters, for those who made comments on the YouTube channel. Thank you for your encouragement. So we have Pinchas. This is a man that suddenly stands up out of the middle of nowhere and becomes extremely significant. We read in the beginning of this Torah portion in Numbers or Bamidbar, chapter number 25 and verse number 10 and 11. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, has turned back my wrath from the children of Israel, because he was ardent with my ardor, or zealous with my zeal, in their midst, so that I did not consume the children of Israel in my ardor. So Yah has this plan of responding to a gross sin that is taking place in the camp of Israel with a threat to annihilate them. We find this incident at the tail end of details in Balak. Last week's Torah portion, where Zimri, a leader of the Shimeonite tribe, parades Cazbi, evidently a Midianite princess, before the elders and leaders, including Moshe, into the camp of Israel. And he asks the question, basically, is it natural for me to have her? And takes her into his tent to begin illicit relations with her. What the Torah is describing is a call to normalcy, a call to natural life in response. One might describe Zimri's doctrine, if you want to call it that, a doctrine that says that if it's natural, it can't be sin. Really. What is more natural than to want to eat meat and bread and food? These people have been subsiding on nothing but manna for the most part for a generation or more. And suddenly they have an opportunity to sit at a table and gorge themselves with delicious delicacies and foods. The only requirement then in repayment for this is that they rise up and bow before Baal Peor. Now, I won't go into the details of this practice because quite literally it's disgusting. That's the most mild-mannered word that I can use for it. But basically, one would bow, turn away from the idol, reveal one's posterior to the idol, and defecate in front of it. As I said, it's disgusting. These women would then be willing to lay with these men and have relations. What's more natural than wanting to eat meat and food? Why, a man seeing a beautiful woman and wanting to have a relation with her. If it's natural, then it can't be sin. Yah allows that which is natural within us. He allows us to eat. He's given us guidelines and boundaries about what our food supply should be. A man is desirous of having a wife, and Yah has established boundaries for that, so that the natural desire to procreate has its boundaries, has its proprieties, it has its sanctity, and is a revelation of the glory of Elohim between two people. That being said, there is also then a natural animalistic response. Zimri was wanting to elevate the animalistic desires of man to that which was set apart, and that just cannot be so. So Pinchas stands up out of nowhere. Now, who is this man? Well, he is the grandson of Aaron the high priest, the son of Eleazar, the current high priest. And what is interesting is that if you go back to Shemot or Exodus chapter 6, and I believe verse 25, there you will find a genealogy that includes the fact that Eleazar, Pinchas' father, married a daughter of Putiel. This would be Yitro, or one we call Jethro, the very father-in-law of Moshe. Therefore, the daughter of Putiel would have been a Midianite, a dark-skinned, perhaps, woman, a woman from a people who stemmed from Abraham. Midian was the son of Abraham through Keturah. As his son, he would have been circumcised, but along with his 5 other brothers plus Ishmael, these circumcised men, knowledgeable of Abraham, knowledgeable of the covenant, were blessed and sent away lest they contend with Yitzhak for the covenant. Midian, then, are people circumcised with no evident benefit. What good has our separation done us? We know about Abraham, we know about the covenant, but it doesn't seem to apply to us. So these are people who feel left out. They have their own system. Eleazar marries one of these women, evidently then the sister of Zipporah, Moshe's wife. Therefore, Pinchas is not only a Hebrew through his father, but he is Midianite on his mother's side. Interesting. So Zimri brings this woman, Casby. She is a princess, evidently. Her father's name is Sur, a rock. Her name means lion. She is one who represents a lying rock, a false Messiah. She's paraded into the camp and presented as acceptable in the eyes of the elders, who are weeping and broken because of the gross rebellious sin that is taking place in the camp. A plague is breaking out. Men are dying, but evidently they're not relating their death to their sin. Sound familiar? This is not what's going on in our day. Pinchas, in great zeal, rises up, takes a spear, follows Zimri and Casby into the tent, and while they are in the very act of relationships, he thrusts a spear that goes through both of them together, and they die. The wrath of Elohim stops. The plague stops, but not before 24,000 people are dead. Who is this man? He represents the zeal of Messiah Yeshua, as it would rise up within the camp of Am Israel and put a stop to the false doctrine of who he is. Yah is not one to wink at our sin. Yah is not sweeping our infidelity against him under the rug. Yah knows the idols that we secretly bow down to in order to gratify ourselves. But he is calling to us to make teshuvah, to repent and return, lest his wrath rise against us. Now, we have been taught since Sunday school that the wrath of Elohim is something that we really don't see anymore. The blood of Messiah Yeshua is taking care of all of that. We just don't have to worry about his wrath. We're only destined for grace and mercy and blessing and favor and the kingdom that is yet to come. It's all good from here on out. If we're willing to walk as those that are upright, those who walk truthfully, honestly, and with integrity toward his Torah. There needs to be a Pinchas inside of each of us. One who acknowledges, yes, I have relations to this present world. Yes, I have attachments. Yes, I have bloodlines that are natural. I have a history that is natural. My family lineage goes back in this land of America almost 400 years. I'm a 10th generation Virginian. We've been in this state since the late 1600s. It's a long, long time. There's a Midianite call, if you will, to the natural order of things. But there's a Pinchas rising up. It says, the zeal of Yah has consumed me for things that are righteous, that are filled with integrity, and things that are true. Let us pursue with Pinchas and receive a Pinchas reward. More tomorrow. Until then, shalom.